Hey, Eric Plays Bass here. Definitely doing the thing in my name today because my buddy Sebastian was very kind enough to visit me and let me play his immaculate Fodera. I think this is the Imperial Elite 6. And this is quite literally the most amazing, beautiful bass I've ever played in my life. I'm sorry, Sarek, that you have to hear that in earshot, but, well, you know, it's different levels to this shit, you know, sometimes. Craftsmanship-wise, you know, I think these are both excellent, but this is like the Bugatti, you know? But we're not actually here for this bass, as beautiful as this bass is. We're here because I have in front of me, that you can't see because I didn't set up my alternate camera angle, because this is all kind of off the cuff. I have the Octave MKII, my trusty Octave I've had for 4 going on 5 years now, with the Tim tuning switch. And we've got the Octave MKIII, or well, his still says Octave. It says it's made by 3 Lee Ah. For those that don't know, the Mark III's had a little printing error, to say the least, and lose their markings at the wrong glance. So I'm keeping it in eyesight and keeping it under control. But what I wanted to do is offer a direct comparison in direct setting comparisons between the two models. If I have my camera, I could just show you, but you have to trust me on this, so take my word as a bass player, I guess. So we're going to start with things at noon, except for tone. Tone's going to be rolled all the way off, so that's the, you know, OC2 setting. Tim tuning is off, and everything is at noon. We'll start with the Mark II. I'm in the J position on this Imperial Elite, and we'll just, you know, passive mode, volume and tone all the way up. I'm running through an Origin Bassrig Super Vintage, controls at what I'd call SVT noon. So crank the mids a bit and the treble a bit, because these are also dead strings, pulled the bass back a little bit. It's going to sound like an old SVT, basically. So here's clean. And forgive my playing, I play a 4-string short scale most of the time, not a 6-string medium-ish scale. So let's go. Octave MKII, volume at noon, mix at noon, tone all the way off. So in the OC2 setting alone, and sub volume, we're not going to do sub yet. So Tim tuning off. So. So give you an idea of that. I also should mention I have the Empress compressor on as well, the Empress bass compressor. So now, same settings on the Mark III. Everything at noon, Tim tuning off, tone all the way off for the OC setting. Now let me run through those back to back a little closer and turn my mic off so there's no extraneous room string noise. And I do apologize for any electronic noise. That is the room I'm in. It doesn't have proper grounding. I should say we'll start with the Mark II and then go to the Mark III. Same settings. I do apologize. I just make these up riffs as I go, so I'm not playing a song. Maybe I'll play a little Lettuce or something, kind of keep it consistent for going forward. But again, this is all spur of the moment. This was unplanned, so kind of surprise. In my not to taint the results, but because this is my channel and because I'm just doing this random, I'm just going to give my thoughts as I go. The Octave Mark III has more mids lot more low mids, and without the Tim tuning even too. Though I feel it tracks a little less well. I do have the compressor on for both examples to kind of tighten things up and tighten myself up. But my initial impression is that the Octave Mark III has more low mids and doesn't track quite as tightly, at least with the Tim tuning disengaged. So let me roll the tone up to middle. So we got the blend of the OC2 and the Mutron in both of them. There's middle for the Octave Mark III. Here's middle for the Mark II, my own. Keeping Tim tuning off, everything else as mentioned. So everything's at noon, Tim tuning off, Mark II, Mark III. So I think they get a little closer to each other in that one with the blend in the middle. You get kind of the dirtiness of the Mutron style mixed with just the clean of the OC2. So let's go all the way full tone so we get just the Mutron side and do the same test. So that one, I think the Mutron's mids really help with that growl of the, or not the Mutron's mids, but, well, the mids that I'm hearing in the Octave Mark III blend really well with the Mutron, with the dirtiness of it. So now let's get a little more creative. So I'm going to do the sub mode, or actually, before we go sub modes, let me do Tim tuning up on both. So this is Tim tuning engaged. We're going to start back where we were, so OC2 only. Everything's still at noon. Otherwise, clean blend and octave are at noon on the OC3, or on the Octave 3. Octave Mark II, volume mix at noon. Tim tuning engaged, tone all the way off. So Mark II, Mark III, you get the idea. In fact, let me see. Try switching pickups a little. I like the noise in my room seems less with the J, as should be expected. So this is basically, I think these are Duncans. I can't remember which they are, like the Fodera Duncans. And I'm running them in humbucking mode, but I still get some noise. So again, I apologize. So we'll keep it there for consistency's sake. And yes, Tim tuning up, tone all the way off on either, volume and mix, or clean and octave in the middle for both. So we'll start with Mark II, go to Mark III. I'm sorry, let me try to do that a little bit cleaner, and then we'll go to the Mark III. I think, yeah, we're getting more mids from the Octave Mark III. I definitely hear it in my headphones. I hope you hear it too. I trust that whoever's watching this, if someone's watching this, they're using proper gear to listen to it as well to make a proper decision. So, all right, let's do. I'm just going to do tone. I usually like the tone at like the 9 o'clock level. So just rolling in a little bit of the Mutron. So I'm going to try that setting with the Tim Tuning Engage. So tone is now at 9 o'clock on each pedal. Same clean and octave and mix settings on 3. Tim Tuning on Mark II, Mark III. So yeah, we're getting similar results again, just like that low mid-range seems to be the most difference. There's a slight volume difference, though I think it might be more perceived just in the mid-range. So let me go all the way up to the Mutron side only, do it real quick. You should know the drill by now, I think. Speeding this up a little bit because I realize we're already 12 minutes in. Now let's do the sub-only mode. So again, going to keep the volumes where they are, respect of the pedals, and then maybe at the end I'll try to volume match them a little bit. So let's keep the Tim Tuning off now. Sub-only modes. There we go. Right? Yes. The LED's behind the foot switch from my angle on the Mark III. So sub-only, and roll the tone all the way back to the OC2 side. So tone rolled all the way off. Volume settings in the middle on either of them. Tim Tuning off. Let's do this. Close enough. And then hopefully you see what I mean a little bit there. I was playing the same way in the beginning of either one, and the sub only on the Octave Mark III just did not seem to track as well. I feel like the tracking's tighter on the Mark II. So not trying to taint anybody's perspectives. I still think they're both great, but I'm glad I have the Mark II, put it that way, so far. So again, no shame on anyone's game, or Spencer for that matter. Hope you're doing well, Spencer. All right, let's do tone just about 9 o'clock again. I like that more than midway up, and then we'll crank it for the next one. So volume mix, clean and octave in the center for both. Tim Tuning off, tone at 9 o'clock. last but not least, roll the tone all the way up, go to the Mutron only side, everything else the same. Alrighty, so yeah, I am this is going through every setting now. Let me see if I can kind of volume match a little bit. I'm going to keep the mic on just because it's going to make this easier. This bass is so big. This is so not what I'm used to, but I couldn't pass up this opportunity. I mean, this thing's incredible, you know. Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. So let me just keep the mic on and kind of go through as I try to readjust my muscles. I feel like I need to work out before holding this thing. Let's do keep the let me see what the big weighs. So that's the Mark II. So I feel like if I put the Tim tuning on, oh yeah, I didn't do the Tim tuning switch. So let me do that real quick. Here's Tim tuning with either. So Mark II first. I really like the Tim tuning on the Octave Mark III, I think, a little bit more than the Tim tuning on the Mark II, at least in the Mutron setting. Let me go back to the OC2 setting now. So Tim tuning up, sub only. Go back to Mark II. Mark III. So, yeah, they are different. They are definitely absolutely different. I didn't think they'd be that different trying them out. I'm glad that I prefer the one that I own, the Mark II. Though I wish it had the size of the Mark III. Though I've had people say that it's nice on a gig that the Mark II is more, you know, the foot switches are further apart, so you don't accidentally step on the sub switch. Though, I don't know. I think that's, you know, you can get used to that. But yeah, that is a direct A to B comparison of the same settings on either of them. Let me look at my meters too. So at this point in the video, it's almost 20 minutes long. This is crazy. I'm just going to be kind of checking out stuff and seeing if I can get them close to each other. So dial them in, see if I can do them justice to each other. I like this setting a lot. This is the Mark III with the tone at about 2 o'clock-ish, and then everything at noon, Tim tuning up. Sub volume have to be up a little bit higher than the Mark II tuning, or Mark II sub volume, so, but, yeah. I don't know. I think at 20 minutes, I think I should probably call because it's going to take forever to upload, so, thanks, y'all. Maybe I'll do this again a little less sloppy another time, but, appreciate you if you watched it. Yeah.